internationally, every culture has their own style of wrestling. Schwingen, which is an Alpine sport in Austria and Switzerland. None of you have seen it. They wear pants and a rope around their waist, and they throw each other with that rope. Obviously, you're all familiar with sumo. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, in many ways, is a form of wrestling from that part of the country. Obviously, they took what is traditional Jiu-Jitsu and through Helio Gracie, as a smaller athlete, started using and developing tactics that worked for him as a smaller guy. He ended up on the bottom of the line. That's where Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu came from. I had a very unique wrestling background because of the Army. We focused a lot on Greco-Roman wrestling, one of the two Olympic styles. Much more upright posture, all the holds take place from the waist up. It's one of the few styles that I think translates to MMA very, very well because of that upright posture. And clinch fighting, being able to hold on to your opponent, dirty box and punch, being in that clinch range, using that solid barrier of defense to your advantage. All those things translated very, very well for me from Greco-Roman wrestling. I had a very unique style and background because of the Army. I also wrestled in college. I think that's the other style of wrestling that translates very well to mixed martial arts because it's all about control, holding your opponent in positions, holding him on his back, holding him to score and control him. We use leg riding, very similar to putting hooks in Jiu-Jitsu. A lot of similarities between the two. In many ways, Jiu-Jitsu is wrestling inverted. We're not used to being on our back, scooting around on our butt, operating from those positions. And in Jiu-Jitsu, they would call that a neutral position. I never saw it that way. If I was on my back or on the bottom, I felt like I was in a disadvantage. Jiu-Jitsu guys look at it a little bit differently. So it's an interesting dichotomy, but it's all about wrestling. So we're gonna start with some pummeling. And we'll talk about some Greco and how Greco applies to mixed martial arts, some takedowns, some arm drags, some different things that work well from my background, Greco-Roman. We could go over striking, kicking, all those things. You can find better strikers. You can find people that are more proficient at that part of the game of mixed martial arts and learn, Bang Ludwig, that's the system we use at Extreme Couture. There are lots of guys out there and Bang was trained by Bas Rutten, who's got a great striking style from Holland, that Dutch striking style. I love Muay Thai. Found a lot of similarities between Muay Thai and the off balancing and things that they were doing that we used in Greco-Roman wrestling as well. So it'd be silly for me to come in here and try and teach you a bunch of striking stuff when you can find guys around with a lot more striking experience. I became proficient at striking and protecting myself, protecting the beam, being able to get my hands on a guy. Partner. You guys have all heard Bruce Lee, swimming on dry land. That's kind of what this drill is. I'm trying to basically create space between him and I. I don't want him to have this inside position. He can control this whole side of my body. He now has access to that leg, my hips, my center of gravity. He can control me just from this simple underhook position with that good underhook on the front of my deltoid. He can pull that elbow in, and basically wherever he goes, I am attached to him. I have to go with him now. So that's the ultimate, is to be able to get here and control my opponent. Head position, I now have access. This pummeling is just a drill to create that sensitivity in my body, so when I fight my way into this clinch range, I'm always trying to be inside. Yep. Okay. Steps. If you're out on the end of that, you know that right hand's coming right after it. So I worked on that left inside kick to break that balance. Right hand, left hook. That kick, right hand, and the son of a bitch fell down. I was like, oh. The entire audience was freaked out too. I think everybody was surprised.